Hi, this is John Paulus, and you're listening to Life's Potluck Buffet. I just pulled card number 20 out of the Life's Potluck Buffet card deck, and the card number 20 is put on your oxygen mask first, then make sure to help others. If you've ever flown in an airplane, you undoubtedly recall that one of the instructions that the crew gives to you when they're doing their safety instructions is if there's a loss of cabin pressure, that oxygen masks are going to drop down from the compartment above you next to the light there. And those oxygen masks are going to maybe not inflate. The bag on them might not inflate, so that don't worry about the bag. But the important part about that oxygen mask is that when it drops down, you put it on yourself immediately, and then you help anybody who needs help, right? So if you're with your child who's sitting next to you on the plane, you don't go and try to put on the child's oxygen mask first, because what's going to happen? Because you're going to pass out. And the child is not going to be able to put the mask on either, because they're going to be passed out. Everyone's going to be passed out. And so not good things that aren't happening now, right? The whole point of the emergency message is kind of reassuring, I think, because it says that as human beings, we want to help out people first and then take care of ourselves. That's our instinct. If it weren't our instinct, then they wouldn't need the instructions, right? If it was your instinct to say, okay, I'm just going to put this mask on myself and then I'm going to tend to others, then you wouldn't need to be told that you have to do that. Instead, we are told, please, please, please put that mask on first, because then you'll save everyone. The same is true in our work. Our oxygen flow, our stability, security is essential if we want to help others. If we want to help others we love, first and foremost, those are the first people we think of course, then our security and stability needs to be there, because they're relying on that. They are relying on us being secure and stable. So that means looking out for ourselves first in regard to the work that we're doing. Now, of course, the first thing you think of here is financial stability. At least that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And looking out for what you can do for your financial stability first will result in financial stability for everyone around you. This helps other forms of stability as well in our work and in our lives. As we know, we've probably all experienced this. That also means being in a stable position in terms of the conditions under which you work. And we all know this too. When you're in a bad situation at work, whether it's your supervisor or your colleagues or whoever it is, that lessens your security and stability. So we need to look out for that first. Otherwise, we take it out on others. I always think about that. I don't know if you have ever watched Bob Ross painting. He had a show on public television in the United States called The Joy of Painting. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. But he was a very calm and soothing painter. But there was always that sign that he knew what it meant to have this kind of to be working under conditions of this kind of stress, because he always talked about painting as that kind of refuge where you can get out your emotions through your painting, through cleaning that 2-inch brush, right? That's a way that you could have a place to direct that negative energy. And that is, that for me at least, is very helpful, because when we think about ourselves, the first thing we think about is like, well, the first thing I think about is like, well, how can I help the people I love? And the people you love and the people who love you want to see you in a stable and secure situation. They want to see you put that oxygen mask on first. What's essential advice for an emergency situation in an airplane is good advice for your work too. Make it a goal to tend to your own security and then to tend to the security of others. So let's think about being on that airplane and where we're headed. There's no emergency situation here, but we're headed to stability. We're headed to stable work. Think about that plane going towards that goal so that it's inevitable that it will land in that location, because that's where your plane is headed. And if you think of it that way, you can start to see what is there when you land. Start to imagine what's going to be there when you land. Imagine where you are. Let the thoughts just come to you and occur to you. So as you think about this, as you think about where this plane is going, think about what guidebook you're reading. What's in that book? What is the name of the place? And it might be symbolic. It might be like when I said in card number 15 that I wanted to be a skydiver. And as I assured you then, I will assure you now, I don't want to be a skydiver. I still don't want to be a skydiver. I'm still really scared of heights. And I am absolutely not interested in risk in terms of jumping out of an airplane. Still not into it. Still not into it. And what you'll recall from card 15 is that I was thinking about, okay, what risks do I need to take in my business life in order to get where I need to be, to get back to Earth in the skydiving sense, right? Where I want to be. The same thing applies for this exercise of where are we going in this airplane? The first place that occurred to me was Tashkent. And I mean, listen, I would be interested to go to Tashkent, but I don't think that I have any. I'll have to look into it, but I don't think there's anything in Central Asia that's going to actually in Central Asia that has to do with my security here. But I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to talk to someone about it, and I'm going to see what I meant when I said Tashkent. And wherever you're thinking about going, put it in the comments and maybe say something about why you're going to that place in your imagination. And I'll see you when you get back. If you enjoyed this recording and you'd like to hear more, just subscribe to Life's Potluck Buffet on YouTube. And if you like the cards, then fly over to Life's Potluck Buffet and land yourself a pack. Oh, that's pretty good. I didn't see that pun coming. Anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
As soon as possible. 当您需要帮助时，请联系乘务员。Please contact